my shirt says. And listen, I want you to listen. Like, we're in a ball right now. It's crazy. It's loud. It's hectic. We're in New York City. But I want you to listen to No Holds Barred Network.
That just does like a little like spin cycle thing.
Oh, man. Oh geez, was the mic off? Okay. It wouldn't be an episode. No, it's fine. All right. Thank you, Ray. Only me.
It's
okay.
cool.
Let's try this again.
If there was no audio when I was doing this in the screen, like just like fondling things, that would be
I can't
awesome.
deal. Okay, so let's try this. I can't deal. I swear, like, you know how it is with OBS, that it's like crazy. Things click off by itself. I don't know why. Like, the audio was just terrible. Anyway, okay.
Tiff, I'm going to be honest with you. It never clicks off by yourself. You just forget. 'Cause that happens to me all the time. I just forget.
This is the whole thing, guys. Anyway, okay, again. So this is the Wrestle Forum Podcast. And I'm your host, the EVP Giggles, which Anthony's actually given me that name, the Heartbreak Chick, and the Queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And if you guys don't know, that's Anthony from Smark to Death Radio. And it's been too long. It's been way too long since you've been on this.
I'm trying to remember the last time we did. So we did an episode together, like right after my co-host quit on me.
Yeah.
Last year. And then I did something with y'all, right? I don't remember which. And
I
then,
think you came on, you came on All Elite Podcast. So
like at the beginning. I think.
I don't even think, it wasn't even on TV yet. We were just shooting the crap on it. So, I don't know.
Man.
So, lots changed in a year.
Yeah, a lot's changed, and now nobody can go watch wrestling in person.
Well, that's not true. There's some wrestling you can still go
there's
see.
some wrestling.
There's
I'm in
some
Texas,
wrestling.
man. Well, we'll see a show never again.
Hey, listen, I'm in New York, man. Like, they're not happening here either. I have to, like, go out of the state to go see something. So.
But y'all had, like, a drive-through. Y'all have a drive-in.
That's in Jersey. That's in Jersey. That's not even in New
Oh.
York. So they're in Jersey going on. Jersey's actually, I mean, New York's actually getting better. New York City went into phase 2. I'm in Long Island. It's just going into phase 3 tomorrow. So I'm hoping in July we get, maybe. I don't even think we're going to get shows back yet. I don't know.
Can I just be honest?
Yeah.
So you talked about creepers a bunch last time. Wouldn't a drive-in like wrestling show kind of be better?
Maybe. I don't know unless they come like at the window and start banging on the window. Let me get.
Why do you think that would happen?
I don't know. I don't know. This is right. This is what we were talking about on this podcast. And then damn it, I should have grabbed it before because it's in the closet. The Creeper Be Gone spray for Anthony's podcast. Like,
with the fucking sparkles and
it
shit.
was so funny because I remember messaging you and it just like, I got this epiphany to like do something for your podcast. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, and you're like, what is happening right now? I was like, I can't wait to show you this on the stream. And I got this empty bottle of Fantastic and I ripped the paper off of it. And then I just like hot glued like a poster board, and I put "Creeper Be Gone," and then I put a million things of glitter all over it because I was always coming in your chat throwing glitter in your chat. So by the way, Chris in the chat says honk if you're creepy. See nope. These are the things that we could do like during I don't know.
Here's the thing though, that Creeper Be Gone, fantastic. Is that a cleaner?
Yes, it's I guess.
Don't lose that. Put it on fucking eBay, right? And just see how many millions of dollars you can get for cleaning spray right now.
Can you imagine? Yeah,
you know what the going rate would be? Like, if you don't want to do it, send it to me in Texas because I got bills to pay.
It is
because we ain't got shit for cleaning supplies.
The starting bid is $99.99. That's just the starting bid.
Yeah,
the minimum,
and that's $9,999.
Right, that's you'll have it like set to like the minimum of like before it gets like released like that. I can't even deal. Oh man, I can't even deal. So it's so great. So tell everybody, like for the fans that are not aware of you, like tell them a little bit about yourself. Like tell them about your podcast. Tell them how you got into wrestling. How did you start getting into podcasting?
Yeah, so I run Smark to Death Radio, which used to be just me. It used to be just Smark to Death. It was me and a guy named Kyle. We started back in 2018, and I don't know what our plans really were when we started the podcast, to be really honest with you. We just thought it'd be fun to fuck around, and then we got 15 listeners on an episode one time. We're like, oh shit, we're famous. There's 15 listens. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You get a handful of listens, and you're like, oh my God, the world knows me. This is awesome. And it's really just your friends that happen to download it and they never even really listened, but you feel good about yourself. And you don't want to come to that realization that no one's listening to you, just your friends downloading your episode. Anyway, we got pretty excited about it. And then we started to, I don't know, he left and then I went off by myself and ended up getting to do some dope shit, like go cover StarCast last year at Media, which was awesome. And yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I took a 2-month break and then decided to bring back Smark to Death as a radio network with some pretty awesome people. We have Smark to Death, which is my show where we run down news every week and do some pay-per-view predictions and reviews. We have, if you guys don't know Mags, at Deej Kirkby, you should. That guy's amazing, and he has 3 different podcasts on our network with 5 Rounds Pod. He has Badlands Pod and Why We Watch. Why We Watch is my favorite idea of a podcast ever because it's basically just having people like me or you, Tiffany, and he's just like, yo, why the fuck do you watch wrestling? And then
straightforward. And
then and instead of just interviewing professional wrestlers or these big names, it's just let's learn about the fans. Why do people watch this niche ass interest? And it's awesome. And then Queen, who you've done a lot of work with, is on the show with Queen's Court. And then a big pause on a pup. Old JPQ brings no particular angle. And we have the Mr. Warren Hayes show. So a lot of different stuff there. I got into wrestling when I was a kid because my dad would bring home Blockbuster DVD, not DVDs. What am I saying?
VHS. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He'd bring back the WrestleMania shit. And then, the first match I ever saw was a Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage match.
Oh, wow.
Yellow trunks Hulk Hogan, back in the day. And so I remember seeing that, and my dad apparently was really into wrestling. He played baseball with the Von Erich brothers, so he always has really liked wrestling. And so we just watched it. I didn't start watching modern wrestling at that time. It was always we were super poor, so we couldn't afford cable. We just got the VHS. So a Mania would come out months and months and months after, however long it was then, probably a year after on a VHS, and then we'd watch it, and I'd be way behind, right? Be in WCW, and it's weird because my fandom expanded to WCW to playing the old video games on PS1. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah.
WCW Thunder. This shit was awesome.
Oh man, bringing it back.
Yeah, so good. And I'd always have a tag team with Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. That was my shit back then. Those were I was all about those guys. But anyway, Nitro, yeah, man. But we start watching wrestling. My dad wouldn't allow me to watch WWF because of all of the all the sexual innuendo in like half naked women, which, you know, that was like 8, so I get it. Whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But then we start watching, and I don't know, it kind of went from there. I stopped watching wrestling for like 10 years.
Oh wow.
Probably. I just like straight up stopped watching wrestling and started playing saxophone, and you know, girls. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like,
girls happen. Oh.
Yeah, like in high school, what are you gonna do? Like, hey baby, you want to go to the movies? Also, I like wrestling. Like, no, they're gonna say no.
Now it's like that's the pickup line. I mean, you're married, you have a beautiful son, and it's like that's the pickup line.
That is not the pickup line. No. No,
the slide
you've
in the
been to
DMs.
enough shows. The pickup, I'm like, hey, do you want to go smell people that like smell all these people at indie shows? She don't want to do that shit. What's wrong with you?
I can't deal. Oh my goodness. Oh geez. So actually, do you remember your first show that like you attended?
My very first show I ever attended was a WWE house show in 2018. Actually, I never went to shows when I was a kid because we were like poor.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't even tell you who the card was. I have no idea who was on it. It was here in Waco though, and we went with some friends. I wish I could remember who it was. It was before Daniel Bryan came back to wrestle, but I went to that. My first show that was actually worth being at was actually All In. That was the very first show I went to that wasn't just a WWE house show with whoever the hell happened to be in Texas.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's great.
So I've been to 2 big shows. It's All In and Double or Nothing. That's it. I've always been more like spending my money on music than sports. Like I've never been to a professional football game, and I love football. You know that.
Yeah, you're a big football guy. I know that. my messages like blow up like when I know like it's Sunday. I'm like, all right, I can't even check my chat between you and Metal because it's like all football, and I'm like, all right, like I'm not gonna like say anything in this chat because they're talking football and I don't know anything. I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, I never like I'm a huge Houston Texans fan. I will not spend money to go to a Houston Texans game. I will not do it. But wrestling, I've only done that twice, man. I've only gone. I did All In. I did Double or Nothing, and we were supposed to hang out at All Out, and then fucking Texas weather's bitch ass.
Oh, I was so upset. I remember like we had this whole thing that I was gonna bring glitter cowboy hats, and I went and I bought, and I remember I made a video of me in Party City, and I bought all these different color party hats, and I was telling all the fans of us that I was like, if you come find me in Chicago, and I will give you a hat, you have to go find Ant, and you have to go put take a picture of him with the hat on. So I was very upset. So maybe in the future we can make this happen, and then I can torture you again with some hats.
Man, I hope so. My hope is that it's like legitimately okay for me to leave my godforsaken state in for May next year for Double or Nothing. I'd love to go. Yeah. That Vegas trip was so awesome. I'd love to go back to Chicago too, but I feel like Chicago's cursed now after that one time.
I don't know.
It's gonna be like mega. Like I'm gonna be super dramatic about it.
I need to go to Vegas. I think that's the goal now because everybody's been talking about it. I wanted to go to the Jericho cruise, but me and my friends, we had agreed that we're going to wait because we're still in the unknown with everything going on. So I think now the goal is Vegas. So hopefully we can do that, and then we can finally meet in person.
I feel like Vegas is a good Vegas is a good goal, right? Like I think that's pretty good. Ori says she was looking forward to the glitter cowboy hat. Man, yes. I thought I was so because Queen was there too.
Yes, I got to hang out with Queen and Metal, and it was crazy. There was like a whole bunch of people. It's that was my first like big trip to like get on a plane and go somewhere to see wrestling. So I always tell people that like I never did this, but like I've done obviously like I drive to like other states, like, connected to New York. Pennsylvania I've gone to, and Jersey, I'm always in Jersey. So I was like, this was a huge deal for me to go to like Chicago for wrestling. And it was funny because I used to make fun of my friend Jimmy. And I'm like, you go everywhere for wrestling, like wherever it is you're going. And I'm like, wow. But to actually experience it, it's something, right? Like you said, you went to Vegas, and it was like an experience just to be around people that just love wrestling, and just all the things associated with wrestling is so great. And it was such a positive experience, just making new friends, meeting people, and seeing wrestlers, hanging out with wrestlers. Like, I don't know if you got that experience, but like I was by where like Scorpio Sky was, by the bar, and I got to hang out with Private Party a little bit and talk. So it's such a cool thing and so humbling to like have even these conversations. And Starcast was great. Wow.
So whenever I did, so when we went to All In last year, I hung out with a guy that he no longer does a wrestling podcast, but that honestly, like meeting podcasters or people that I knew, was more fun for me than meeting the wrestlers. Like I've told you this before, I'm not a big, like, I don't do meet and greets. I don't pay for meet and greets. Like I don't, it's just not something that I do. Kudos to people that love that stuff. Like you guys that love to do it. I'm not going to judge you. Do what you want. Who cares? It's your fandom. I'm not telling you how to do it, but I've never been super into that. However, I'll never forget that my wife thought it was the funniest thing, because Hangman walked by, and that was when he was doing the walking around barefoot thing. And so he walked by barefoot through, like in Chicago. We're sitting there watching Busted Open Radio, and like Bully Ray and David LaGreca are interviewing. They're interviewing PCO, because that was PCO. Like he had just blown up from his match with, I can't remember who it was, but it was at the Joey Janela Spring Break show, Spring Break 2. And PCO had just blown up, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's not been around in a long time. I remember PCO. And then Hangman just walks by, and Scorpio, like SCU, walked by, and that was pretty cool. Starcast 2 though was super awesome, because I started my day hanging out with Amy from WrestleJoy, I guess we can say now. Yes. But I started off my day hanging out with her and drinking way too much gin, and bumming like half a pack of cigarettes from her. But anyway, it is what it is, right? It's Vegas, whatever.
Hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Except,
but you know what freaks me out? I don't get a lot of like crazy celebrity like worship type stuff. Like somebody I was with gave a too sweet to Cody at All In at Starcast, and I was like, whatever, it's Cody, cool, fine. But I walked by Booker T at Starcast 2 because I was going back to the media area and just like checking it out, seeing if they had some free shit I could steal, like food. They didn't. I was mad. Shouldn't have been. Whatever. But I got into the damn event for free. Why did I want food? Whatever. But anyway, I saw Booker T, who's massive, and walked by him, and I was like, with Tom from Wrestling News World, and he was surprised I didn't freak out. He goes, you know who he walked by? I said, I'm going to wait till he's not in earshot. He walked away, and I said, was that fucking Booker T? Are you fucking for real? Like Booker T and I just shared airspace. That's amazing.
It's so cool. Like I would always get like nervous around like meeting wrestlers. Now I'm a lot better. Now I don't really get that like nervous, like heart racing kind of feeling now, I think, because I've been around so many. So I think I just got like used to it. But by the way, Ray said it was PCO versus Walter.
Thank you, PCO versus Walter.
Yes.
Or Walter. Well, Walter, who has the best theme in all of wrestling.
Oh, man.
God, that theme's so dope. You know what my favorite mark-out moment ever was, though?
What?
And I have to tell the story, and you know the story because I told you the story, is at Double or Nothing, before Jon Moxley debuted. Like, Jericho beats Omega and is talking his shit, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to pee. I had drank like 4 Coors Originals at that point, or Coors Light, whatever the beer, cheap, overpriced beer I was drinking at that time was. And I'm like, oh my God, I've had so much beer, I have to go to the bathroom. So I run to the bathroom, and then I like walk by fucking Moxley, who's just like throwing water on himself, because you know wrestlers can't have dry heads.
No,
they gotta be soaking wet before they go out there. So he's like throwing water on himself, spitting water on the ground, which now would make me like think I need to go get a COVID test, but whatever. I'm like looking at him do that, and then the camera guys who are recording it for Bleacher Report live like look at me and shush me, And I remember running all the way down the stairs to Olivia, and I was like, oh my fucking God, Jon Moxley's about to debut. Oh my fucking God, Jon Moxley's about to debut. And then I hear people freaking out, and I'm like fucking screaming. Like, I have video on my phone of me just like losing my mind because he was my favorite WWE guy. And then I stopped caring about that promotion when he left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I remember you telling me that story. It was such a crazy, like, oof. Wow. Man, I wish I was there for that.
You know, I thought I was like, I knew he was going to debut too. Like, I just had a feeling deep inside, and it was too quiet what was happening with him. And I thought that me running into him or knowing that was going to ruin the surprise. And still my favorite wrestling memory of all time, probably.
That's a great memory to have. Oh man, it's something when you go to these shows, and then when Ortiz and Santana came at All Out, I flipped out because it was just so crazy. Because I remember being at the House of Glory show before, and they were saying goodbye. They were in the ring, and then all of a sudden everybody started chanting AE Dub, and they're like, we don't know where we're going. And like, y'all like, yeah, okay. You don't know where you're going. You know where you're going. And just to see them like debut at All Out, it was so crazy. I mean, it probably like Moxley's probably like that bigger, but I popped because of course I'm going to pop because here they were always in New York, and I seen them numerous times in the indie scene. So it was just so crazy to me. And even a lot of the wrestlers, I talk about it all the time, though, a lot of them that came from the indie scene that I watch that are now in AEW, it's insane. It's just insane. Oh man, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, see, I think that's way cooler for you because you go to so many indie shows, and because you're in the mecca of indie wrestling, like it just is, because
right.
It will be for a while. But like up in the tri-state area, like you guys have fucking everything up there. Like y'all have a ton of promotions, a ton of indie. And so you've seen these guys before they were even a speck in the eye of wrestling fans. Like you've seen these dudes forever. And so I'm sure it's like, you feel like your boys are debuting.
It's crazy. I'm always going to say that. I'm like, yes, like I'm always going to flip out. Like Darby, like I remember like watching him in Evolve, and you know, even like seeing like Priscilla Kelly. So yeah, you're right. Like it's a completely different experience for me to watch these guys. It really is like this satisfying feeling, right? Like, but it's also for you too, because I mean, we could talk a little bit about Wrestle Circus. I got into wrestling, you know, it's so sad, but like I got into Wrestle Circus because of you, because you just love Wrestle Circus so much. And then between Peter Avalon and Scorpio Sky being there, and I know like Orange Cassidy, I remember you telling me, right, the last show Orange Cassidy was there, and your wife actually talked to him. Right? Like, yeah,
she told him that she loved him.
It's the whole pass, right?
she just walked by and was like, I love you.
Aw, he's such a sweetheart. Like, he's so great. Like,
he didn't say anything. I think he just gave her a thumbs up.
Really? I've actually had conversation with him in person, like before AEW. Like I've actually like talked with him, and I remember like one day I wanted to, every time that I used to go to ICW, me and my friend Brad were like, okay, we got to get certain pictures with certain wrestlers, and Orange Cassidy was always my thing. I was like, every time I saw Orange Cassidy, I had to take a picture with him. And I remember asking one of my friends, I'm like, where is he? They're like, he's in the back. He's sleeping. Every time after his match, he's sleeping in the back. I'm like, okay. Damn,
that's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing that he was like sleeping. Because where it was actually in a gym, right? So that they would have these shows at a gym. So the locker rooms were separate, right? Like you had your women's, because it was a gym. So you had women's locker room, and like you walked in, there's the bathroom, and then there's like another like entranceway into this huge locker room that had like maybe like 50 lockers, and then like you had your shower section or whatever. So they said that he was like in the back, like laid on a bench, like sleeping. I was like, okay. I was like, I guess I'm not getting my picture today, but okay.
So it's not a gimmick.
Well, it's the whole Orange Cassidy thing.
Yeah, the whole Orange Cassidy thing.
I don't know. I guess not, right? Like he's sleeping in the back, but I mean, we talked about this before, that even I love Orange Cassidy, but him even as Fire Ant, like it's just so great. A lot of people don't know that about him in Chikara. So I actually got to watch something in Chikara, because I haven't really got into it. There's so much, like you said, like me personally, like I'm in it, and like I go to a lot of shows, but there's so many promotions out there, you can't keep up with everything. It's like impossible. So
oh, you gotta watch Chikara.
Oh no, I did. I watched the one with Fire Ant and Chucky. So I was like, this is so funny. And I took a picture recently and I sent it and I tagged Chucky and I'm like, look, it's Chucky from Chikara. Like, how cool is this? So, but, oh man, Wrestle Circus, I really got into. I got to talk to Peter Avalon at Full Gear. I went to StarCast and everybody's doing the thing. And I come up to him and I'm like, all right, so let's talk about Wrestle Circus right now. And he got all into it with me. And he was like, he's like, I know. He was like, I was going to do this ladder match. I love that promote. Like, we really got into like a deep conversation about it. Everybody's talking about this gimmick and I'm talking that. And he was like, oh, he's like, here's a true fan that like legit knows me like before. And I think, you know, in my experience, I think a lot of wrestlers that are in mainstream, like they appreciate more when you start talking the indie scene to them.
I've noticed too, because I've interviewed wrestlers from, like, I've interviewed Lance Archer. I've interviewed Kid Cash, who was, you know, had quite a bit of fame whenever he was around. I've interviewed Hornswoggle, but I've also interviewed like Alley Cat and Alex Sane and these other guys. And it is such a different experience talking to indie wrestlers, just in general, like a better experience, like talking to the indie wrestlers. It's like when I talked to Alex, after his July 4th show last year, when I told everyone that guy was going to blow up, you're welcome. I was right. But I was like, I got to get this guy on the show. This dude is the next fucking, he's the next fucking thing. Like he's going to be a big deal. I just know it. I can tell. And I knew nothing about him because at that point he was a backyard wrestler that had not wrestled very many events. And we're just talking, like, he was so psyched that I guess that I wanted to interview him at all. And I was just like, tell me about trading tapes with backyard wrestling. If you've never talked to someone about trading tapes and backyard wrestling, it is fucking wild, Tiffany.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like because they don't have it. It's not on Fight TV.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They can't show you something on Fight TV. So they're like, oh, I have this like YouTube clip that was filmed out of this potato phone that somebody had of me wrestling my next door neighbor who's like 45 pounds overweight and can't do I can't get him over really well with the suplex, but here it is. And you're like, what the fuck? This is wild shit. And even Alley Cat too. Like I talked to Alley Cat and we talked about being in Texas. Like we didn't even talk about wrestling. You just get a genuinely more like a better conversation, like a real human conversation with these guys when you know their indie experience or you talk to them.
You're right. Like I've had Alex Zane also. That's why I love doing the Under the Ropes series on the No Holds Barred Network because it's so special to me. Like I love hearing, you know, of course, like I want to talk backstories with them, like how, because not everybody's familiar with them, right? And then I start diving in a little bit more, and it was funny, like you said, like Alex Zane. Oh my God! Like this is why he's the husband, but like, which we'll get into. But he's so sweet. Like I marked out. I got to do that interview with Queen. And she's amazing. I love her to death. And like I feel like with certain interviews, like Queen of Any has to do with me. And usually like these bigger names, like I have to do with her. And it was so great. All we did was talk food with him. It was the funniest thing. It was like we're trying to talk wrestling, but we kept going back to food. And it was just a genuine
I was
thing.
telling him that Mexican tacos and from Texas are better than Taco Bell tacos, and he wasn't having it.
He's the most humblest guy. He's so great. Like I love like that I found a Mexican place out here and I got that big box and I made this whole video on and I put it on Twitter and I was like, Alex Zane's gonna be so proud of me right now. I got this big box of tacos and he goes, I'm so proud and so jealous. He was like, and he's, you know, I'm so excited because I'm actually going to the Synergy show with him and Blake Christian. Once I saw that, I was like, how do I get Colin to let me go to the show? I was like, I messaged him. I go, Colin, if I give you $5, can I come to this show? I was like, I need to see Blake Christian and Alex Zane go at it. Like, I need to see it. Like, we've seen it numerous times, right? On, like, GCW and stuff. Like, we've seen it, right? But I want to witness this live. And I was like, Colin, I need to be there. I don't care what I do. Like, I need to be there for this match. And I'm so excited. And he's one of the most humblest guys that, like, I've met in the business. And, I'm so excited. Such a great guy. So
yeah, Alex is awesome. He I actually just talked to Colin last night about from Synergy.
Yeah.
We talked for about an hour. He actually just messaged me just now, like asking me to help him with something on OBS. Like that's a theme, guys. Like if you guys don't do content creation and you're like, man, I'm not very good at technology, nobody is.
Yeah. Look, I messed up at the beginning too. Like, somehow the mic was off. No audio. It happens all the time.
If you've ever jumped in like one of Warren's shows, Mr. Warren Hayes, like it looks so good, right? Like pristine, polished. He struggles with technology too. It's all of it.
It's a pain.
It's just all of it. It's crazy.
It really is a pain.
Oh boy.
Great. So I gotta ask the question. So
go for
since
it.
I brought it up, the list of husbands. Let's go. I need top 5 list of wives. Let's go.
Okay, so Sheeta's number 1.
Ooh, okay. See, I love it. That's it. I'm done. This is a list.
Sheeta is definitely number 1. Penelope Ford is 2. Bailey is in my top 5. 3 through 5 are about the same. So Sheeta, Penelope Ford, Bailey, Io Shirai, and then Alley Cat, just because she has a special place in my heart because she's a Texan.
Now that's a list. That's a list. I like this list. I don't know, like Kyle, if you're listening, you have to redo your list because
what is his list? I haven't heard his
I don't
list.
even remember it, but I remember disapproving it. I think I was shocked because I thought Sheeta or Paige was gonna be his number 1 and Alicia Atout was his number 1. And I was very surprised because like I knew how much Kyle loved Sheeta and Paige. Those are his girls. So I expected that to be one of his number 1s. So I was like, it just kind of threw me for like a loop. So, but Sheeta's on my list of wives. Definitely. I have to redo the list of wives. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to figure out my list of wives. I'm going to have to do
it now.
No, number 1 is Riley Madison. I had her on the podcast. She's absolutely gorgeous. I think she's always going to be my list of wives number 1 because she's just gorgeous. Sheeta's got to be number 2. Zelina Vega's got to be number 3.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sheeta is 4. Wait, what did I say? No, I'm confusing myself now.
Riley Madison, and then you had Sheeta, Zelina Vega.
Damn it, what's her name? Alexa Bliss is number 4. Definitely.
Ooh.
She's so pretty.
Oh, I love Alexa.
Yeah. Number 5. Oh,
you're not supposed to be a wrestling fan. And
Valentina's gonna be my number. Valentina. She's gonna be my number 5. Yes. So those are my 5.
You know, with as much indie wrestling as you watch, like the fact that you like not Penelope Ford, sorry, the fact that you like Alexa Bliss means that people have to hate you.
I guess so. Sorry, guys.
Isn't that the thing now that we're all supposed to hate?
Yeah, well, deal with it.
I never know with Alexa. Like some weeks we all hate her, and then the next week we're supposed to stop hating her. I just never know.
Yeah, Zelina Vega is a New Yorker, so see, that's the other thing. Yeah, she's a New Yorker as well. So there you have it.
And a cosplayer. She does dope ass Mortal Kombat cosplaying.
She's so pretty, and damn, she looks so good in a lot of that. Damn, I gotta stop eating. Like. She looks so good, and I'm here, and I was just talking to one of my friends because she lost so much weight. Like, she's been doing so good. Like, she was over 300 pounds, and she's gotten down. She lost 50 pounds within a couple of months, and I'm so proud of her. Like, it's so insane. And I'm like, damn, I was like, I need to get back on this. So now she actually posted a picture earlier. She did a cosplay as well, and I was like, yo, I was like, who are you? Like, excuse me, posted this stuff in like the thirst traps. She wrote me this morning that somebody was in her DMs and she's like, this guy needs a bottle of water because he's thirsty. I was like, oh jeez. I was like, you posted pictures like that, you're gonna get that. But yeah, Zelina Vega is a Queens girl. See, we go hand in hand.
That. I never know where these people are from.
Yeah, she's from Queens. That's where I'm from. So Anthony actually came on and he was like that the New York accent wasn't really coming out as much, but I'm sure throughout the last half an hour that we've been doing this, the New York accent comes out very thick.
It was pretty hardcore just then. I thought I was watching Seinfeld. And what's the deal?
I can't help it. Like, it's so funny. And I know I told Ant this, and I know I told Kyle this too before. I remember like when Kyle was planning to come to New York, and we were talking even before, and I was taking pictures. I was somewhere in the city, and I was taking pictures, and I was sending it to him, and I was like, oh, I got to take you here when you come here. I got to take you here or whatever. But I tell everybody, if you're not a New Yorker, like, you wouldn't really know, but there are different accents. Like, I'm from Queens. I have a very different accent than somebody from Brooklyn, or I have a very different accent than, like, I live in Long Island, but I'm not a Long Islander, you know, and they have a very different accent. You can definitely tell, like, Staten Island's got a different accent. So you wouldn't know, you know, unless you start talking to somebody. So you could talk to somebody and be like, oh, you're from Brooklyn, or you're from the Bronx. Like, you could just tell, like, as a New Yorker, the different accents. But I know, like, somebody like you were like, oh, you have that New York accent. You have that thick New York accent. Like, Kyle always makes fun of me with the accent. He hasn't done it in a while. He's due to make fun of me with my accent. So
it's, you know, it's not too, I can't, what am I going to say? Like, I live in Texas. The fact that I speak quickly and I don't use, like, when I use vowels, it doesn't sound like I just have molasses in my mouth is not normal, Tiffany. Like, I should be doing a lot of things, and I use y'all a lot.
Yeah, he does. He even writes it.
Notice then.
Yeah, you write it too, y'all. Like,
yes, I say y'all, and it does not matter if you are in the South at all, especially if you're in Texas, and you say the word y'all, you cannot help but slow down. It's like you see a yield sign in your sentence. You could be speaking really quickly, like, man, I had a really great day today, and blah, 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 y'all.
It's that, and me, like, I talk so fast, sometimes people don't catch. And I can't help it. That's just how I am. I talk very fast. I
like how Margaret in the chat says coffee.
Yeah, the coffee. You want?
Yeah. What is our group chat called? Light tubes, coffee,
and glitter. Is it?
Coffee and no, it's light tubes, coffee, and poor spelling.
Yes, because when I bought the iPad, because I wasn't used to it, and I was typing, and you're like, "Oh, here comes Tiffany with all the misspelled words," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." Like, but sometimes, like, I write it how I say it. I started doing. It's a bad habit now. Is that because I got so used to podcasting that I purposely start writing things the way that it sounds that I say it. So coffee. Like Margaret write in chat, CAWFEE, you know, I'll write it. So if it's like somebody new, well, this is probably why, like, I'm single, because I can't spell.
I don't think so. Metal can't spell either, and he has like 78 kids.
Metal, shout out to you. I love Metal so much. Oh my goodness, that was, I think, oh man. That's too funny. I remember he came in the chat where we did the AAP podcast, and he said something. He was trolling, and I didn't know he was trolling. And you said that Smark to Death's like troll. And I was like, okay. I was like, there we go. Or he's dying. Yeah. She goes, 78 kids. Oh, at the burial.
Dave's, yeah, Dave's in the chat because I said what I said about Metal.
Yeah, I love
Listen.
Okay. I don't see OBS. I didn't touch anything.
I don't know why the audio just goes out.
It just went out. I didn't even touch anything. Because you see me with my hands. I'm not touching anything.
I see you with the hands, yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with OBS. I can't deal with this stuff. So
I feel like I can hear you though. Hold on.
It's Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, your audio's back.
Can you hear me now?
It came back to you saying, "I'm done." which is
Oh,
spelled
man.
Dunnn.
See, there was an episode when I was doing That Ass Podcast where Kyle was on, and we were doing, I forgot the episode. It was we picked the topic, and we were talking about like dating, whatever the topic was, and his friend. Corporate Cappy called into the show. That was someone that Kyle used to do on the No Holds Bar Network as well. You know, they used to do a lowdown show. And he called in, and it was like double team. They double teamed me, making fun of my accent. And then Cappy actually made a list. So I think he was only on the phone for like half an hour. I swear, like, I think it was 25 words that he wrote down that I said that was so New York. He was like, New York, and like legit, like 25 words. And he told me that when I was going to come up to Canada, that he was going to present me with the list of all the words that sound like New Yorkin and stuff. So, but yes, Ori, if we tied my hands behind the chair, I wouldn't be able to speak. That's the Italian way. Like, it's so funny, right? Like, I look Latina. I don't even look Italian. Right. And then once you start having a conversation with me, you start seeing that like I'm more Italian than I am Latina. So, but it is what it is.
But you know what, though? That's just, like, nobody can hate New Yorkers for being really pissed off at vowels and consonants. Like, it's not y'all's fault that every consonant has to be hard.
The school system failed me.
The school system's better than ours.
I don't know about that.
Oh, girl, spend some time in Texas.
I gotta come down. That's what I want to do. My like goal is like I have to come to Texas because I need to eat this amazing barbecue that you like tease me with in our DMs all the time. All this stuff that you're barbecuing, like I can't with you. And like I want to drink out of the what are they called? The glasses?
Mason
jars. The mason jars. That's what I want to do. I just want to sit in a rocking chair in your backyard having some barbecue food and drink some mason, you know, out of the mason jar. And see, even Conrad said he's coming, and I'm sure we're just gonna throw a party at your house. That's it. 2021
like a real
guys,
one,
like
not the one that Meta did last year.
We're throwing a real party at Aunt's house, and we're gonna sit in rocking chairs, and maybe Aunt will play the banjo or something.
Do you think that Texas is Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
That's what you just described. I do not have a banjo or rocking chairs. I do not have either of those things.
Listen, I do
barbecue.
Listen, I want some biscuits, please.
Look, I'll make some biscuits, but I do not have rocking chairs or the little, like, you know, they have the like cool little mat that you play checkers on, or the golf tee game. I don't have those things.
I'm like gonna cry from laughing.
I have patio furniture with an umbrella, some tiki torches, and I grow watermelon.
I'm done. Okay, so I'll bring the vodka so we can put it in the watermelon, and then we can, you know.
You don't have to bring the vodka. We have Tito's. Hey, Texas.
Even better. Like I'm down for whatever. I'm gonna buy a gigantic Mexican hat, and I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna do a dance when you play the banjo. It's like, no, Tiff, no. It's like, no. Boo. Next, he's gonna say he doesn't have the convenience store inside. That's what Ray said. Say? Ray said, boo. Next, he's going to say he doesn't have the convenience store inside.
We have a convenience store inside. Dave says that you think Texas is Deliverance.
Yes, absolutely. I'm telling you, he sends like food porn to me, and I need to have this food that he sends to me, like briskets and ribs, and like I can't. But you're right, this is Cracker Barrel, man. So like I want some biscuits. And we're going to start having this conversation about, where are we like fighting about the whole thing? Oh, the colored greens, because I was calling them green beans. I forgot about this. How did I forget about this?
Oh, I never will, because I was like, actually like, oh my God, Tiffany, they're green. It was because I was talking about having greens. I said, I make greens all the time. I said, I made something in some greens, like mac and cheese green, like Southern staples, like Ori's in the chat. She's in Louisiana, but she knows what I'm talking about. Like, they have Cajun food, but she's come to Texas enough. She knows what I'm talking about. But whenever we say greens, we mean collard greens.
Jimmy's in the chat.
I say greens. You're like, greens, green beans. I'm like, oh my fucking God. What is wrong with these Yankees?
That's another thing too. Oh my God, that drives. I'm a Mets fan, man. Like, why is it that when I go to Louisiana, they're like, "You're a Yankee," and I'm like, "No, man, I'm a Mets fan. Like, don't call me a Yankee." But by the way, Jimmy in the chat said, "I'll bring the moonshine."
Oh, I do like some moonshine. I see Ori's talking about mustard greens. Mustard greens are also greens, but usually it's collard greens.
I remember.
I don't know why we talk about food every time we do this.
Yes, because it's just how it is. But I remember, like, you posted a picture of the collard greens, and then I started posting gifs of green beans underneath it. I was like, no, it's green beans. I was like, it's not collard greens, it's green beans. I forgot about
You would
this.
also jump in my chat and say, "Hey, green beans."
I'm a horrible person. Like, I'm a good fan to have, and I'm a good person to be in your chat because I cause havoc. Oh man, I love it. But actually, so you and Metal as well as Brad, you guys got me into like GCW. Let's talk a little bit about GCW. So I remember because I couldn't really deal with like death matches because it was like too much blood. Now I love it. Now I like absolutely love it. But I remember you guys were saying, "Tiff, there's actual matches besides death matches." So
Yeah.
it's so good. Like, again, Orange Cassidy, like before he got signed, like he was having matches in GCW as well. So, but you watched this weekend as well. It was so nice, and Metal was there, and oh my God, what a show, right?
It was so good. And what I appreciate most, and I told both Kevin Gill, who follows me now on Twitter, no big deal. I told Kevin, I had tweeted out that I thought they did such an amazing job. And then they talked about Brett Lauderdale had tweeted like how proud and happy he was of the show. And I like immediately responded and said, "Man, I hope you understand how nice it was to see how safe that, like, it's weird to say safe in GCW with death matches, but they were like cleaning shit down after every single match. Everybody was all distanced, and they're like, the wrestlers didn't touch any of the fans. And it was really nice to see that, and also just to see indie wrestling. Like, AEW is fine, sure. It's good. I like AEW, but like like there's nothing like the grit of indie wrestling, and like there's nothing like seeing people fuck up moves. Like sometimes I kind of like to not see such a polished product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we got so many new names as well. This show. Oof.
Yeah, Calvin Tankman. That dude fucking ruled.
Yeah, that was such a great show. Oh my God, like I'm so excited. Oh, I wish I could go to like the next GCW show, the Backyard show. Oh man, but no, you're right. Like it's different. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Sorry, I'm also messaging Colin because I'm doing the bracket review.
Damn it, Colin!
With them for Synergy.
I'm gonna message him and yell at him right now.
Well, I'm trying to help him for this thing we're doing tonight with like David LaGreca and a bunch of other people. So I'm just like, shit, what do you need, brother? What's going on? But yeah, we had AJ Gray was there too, who got in a wreck, and I'm glad that he was able to get there.
Oh man, that was crazy. And then people, all the love that he was getting, like, oh, you know, like I got you, and like I'll take you home, or whatever the story was. It's so nice, and it's such a, you know, tight community, and I just and of course, like they know you if you keep going like to the shows, and like they know who you are, and there's nothing like indie wrestling. I can't preach enough, and like I think I'm like forever gonna be like this advocate for independent wrestling, and of course, like again, like I said, I love my AEW. I really do. And it's like a glorified indie show. That's what it kind of is. It's just an indie show with like money, right? That's how, like, for me personally, like that's how I feel. And like you said, because of the fact that I'm in it so hardcore here in New York, going to all these shows, and I know a lot of these guys. So it's just like more money thrown, you know, into AEW. So for me, a lot of it's like special place. Like here, Private Party watched, and Santana and Ortiz, and Darby and Orange Cassidy, even it's just even seeing John Moxley in like last summer at Northeast Wrestling, and it's so cool to watch. But what else are you watching, like besides like the indie? Well, now we're just started getting back indies, which is great. So what else have you been watching during all this?
You know, I fell real bad off with wrestling at the beginning of the year, where I was just watching AEW pretty much for a while. But I've always enjoyed GCW. which is really like my number one promotion. Of course, New Japan's back. Like we went from Indies to New Japan, which is nowhere near the Indies, but New Japan is back, and I could not be happier because indie wrestling is great. There's something magical about watching independent wrestling, and no other promotion can ever match that. But like the same thing with New Japan, like nothing that's a polished product can match what New Japan has. AEW is great. They have great matches. Their long matches aren't as great as New Japan's long matches. Right. That's just a fact. Yeah. That's just true. And it's no knock on Western wrestling at all. But Western wrestling, we really, really, really need a crowd for long matches. Yeah. Like we saw that with Randy Orton versus Edge this couple weeks ago, which I'm sure you didn't see, which is okay. But it was a good match. It's just one of those matches where there's so many rest holds and there's so many moments that we're supposed to play up to a crowd because that's what they do.
Right.
Whereas New Japan, things like the crowd cheers regardless of whether the wrestlers are meaning to make it happen. Like they don't pander to the crowd. So this product that we're seeing with no crowd from New Japan is just so fucking good. Like they're just so good. And the best hair in the business, Tiffany, lies on Tanahashi's head.
Oof. Oh man, I gotta catch up with New Japan because I'm like so behind, but I've been so busy. But you're right though, like Matt Tremont was under the ropes last night, and he was saying like, you know, we miss the fans and we need the fans. Yeah. Like, you know, you're doing what you can do right now because at least like you're putting something out for us. And I know, and I'm sure Anthony's the same way. Like I'm very appreciative of them trying to still give us something that we can watch.
Yeah.
But it's so hard because they feed off the fans. They feed off you. And I'm sure like, you know, you've been to a lot of indie shows as well. And I've been to shows where the crowds are dead. And I'm talking indies. Like, I'm not talking like, oh, you go to like WWE or, you know, AEW. Like, you're not going to get those dead crowds. Like, you'll go to indie shows and even you'll watch indie shows on like Fight and as well. And like, you'll see crowds dead. And I don't understand. And I'm like, why? Like, be loud. Like, they like that. They feed off of that. So I'm going to be there and I'm going to act a fool. You know, for my friends in the business. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to do it.
So I agree, but I'm a bit of a golf clapper. Like, do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah. It's like the like silent clap.
No, I mean I clap, but I'm a bit of a.
You don't like to scream and stuff?
I'm just such a douche. Like I love independent wrestling, and I'll get up for the entrance and I'll cheer really loudly. But like during a match, unless something really crazy happens, I basically will either sit or stand there, and I do the like, I think I'm tougher than I really am guy thing, like with the arms crossed.
No,
like
jeez.
And I'm like,
no, you don't. Do you? No, you don't.
Yes, I sure do. Go back and look at Wrestle Circus.
Why? Why do you do that?
I don't know. I always.
Are you looking for them to come?
And I watch. I do that during music festival sets too. Like even music festivals, I stand with my arms crossed and I just like watch, or I stand where like I call it the Texan, where you rest your beer on your belly. While standing or sitting. Like I do that a lot. But then I will cheer a lot for them. Like if there's a really high spot, like obviously I'm gonna cheer because they do feed off of that. But I can't criticize the people that don't get super loud because I kinda suck.
But are you looking for somebody to come antagonize you or something? Like
no, I don't know, Tiffany. I can't tell you why I've been this way for 31 years. I am who I am.
I don't know. Maybe he's looking for somebody to come up to him and start shit with him during like a match or something. Like,
no, I just stand there and I'm just like, yeah, this. I mean, I'm having a great time, but you would never know it because I have resting dick face. It's like resting bitch face, but the male version.
I can't. I don't know if you'd be able to handle like sitting with me and everybody like that. So we're crazy.
Oh, I'd be fine because at football games I'm a fucking nutcase, but at wrestling I'm just like. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so that was cool.
That's the goal.
Good suplex.
So the goal is that Ant has to come to New York, and I have to take him to these shows out here, and I have to take you to a Synergy show. That's what I really need to do. I need to take you to one of the Synergy shows with our dear friend Colin, who I love to death, and we're gonna have to act a fool. And you need to go to one of these shows because I talked about it with Colin when I had him on Under the Ropes, and I talked about how I love his venue. I love it. It's such a gorgeous venue. It's so like simple. It's just like wide open. I don't know what it is about that venue that I like. It's like probably like my favorite venue of all like the independent shows that I've been to. So I have to bring you. That's the goal. That you gotta come here, and then we'll drive to Jersey for like an hour, because I think it's about like an hour to the venue, and yeah, and then we gotta go act the fool, and then you can go meet all the guys from. Well, I'm sure you met them, the guys from Go Pro Wrestling, because they do the all the videos there as well, and then you can come meet all the wrestlers that you haven't that I'm cool with. So that's the goal.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing, like wrestling shows, because I've like, again, I have a ton of fun with them. I don't know why I'm that way. Also, I realize now that saying resting dick face sounds completely different than what I wanted it to sound like. Like, it sounds like I'm saying like a dick is just like,
hey, whatever you're into, right? I can't. I don't know. I'm going to throw some green beans and some collard greens at you or something. So you'll be all right.
I got completely sidetracked from talking about Wrestle Circus. Wrestle Circus was awesome, by the way. This is like 20 minutes later. Wrestle Circus was really awesome. And like the coolest thing of Wrestle Circus was that Sami Callihan and Tessa started their angle for Impact for Slammiversary last year. Mm-hmm. They started their angle like the week before on Impact, and they continued it at Wrestle Circus. And I got a video of Sami Callihan running out and attacking Tessa Blanchard and giving her his thumbs up, thumbs down pile driver. And it was pretty cool because he used that video that I had to push the angle online.
Oh, that's
and I thought
awesome.
that was also really cool. Most of my cool wrestling moments have come by like from getting really lucky with Twitter.
Yeah. You really can. You really can. It was so funny. Like, you know, it's true. Like, even like earlier, I put a tweet because I did a clip of Matt Tremont yesterday, and such a humble guy. If like you're familiar with him, and if you guys aren't familiar with him, definitely check out the interview because he's a vet and he's just amazing. And I just loved, you know, all the questions that we were asking him, and the one thing was because he's done a lot in his career, and now it's like he's giving back. He's got his school, he's training. Like, it's such a great story what he was saying. And one of the questions that was asked was, you know, who's still on your like bucket list pretty much of who you want to wrestle, and he talked about Cody Rhodes, and he talked about like the history of it, and that even like with Dustin and Dusty and everything, like that he would love to have this match and have one, not to get signed with AEW. He just wants one match. He wants his one moment to like be on television. That was like the one thing that he didn't do, is that he wasn't on television. And I put that on Twitter, and I tagged, and it like went nuts, like on Twitter, like, or, you know, a lot of people were sharing it, but like the views, and I was like, crap, you know? So Twitter can be a great thing. I think even my Matt autograph is like at 10,000 views on Twitter as well. Like, I love that moment. That's, I think, one of my favorite wrestling moments is the Matt autograph. And I tried so hard not to laugh. I remember telling everybody, I was like, I'm going to try not to laugh. And then Nick made me laugh. Nick was in the back laughing, which made me laugh. And I was like, damn it, I was doing so good until I started hearing Nick laughing. I'm like, shit. See, there's a reason. But Ant is the reason why I have the name, the EVP of Giggles. So.
Yeah, I gave that to you like the very first time that we did that podcast too. I think that Kyle reached out to me, and I think you and I just happened to click during that episode.
No, I was in your chat for a while. No, I found you. Right. I found you, and I was coming in your chat. And I was causing havoc then. That's how it started with me.
That's right. That's right.
So
I always
and then
my
you
memory
listen.
sucks.
I remember you were listening. You were listening to me and Kyle, and you were like God, I just clicked in and she's laughing already. And he's like, she's the EVP of Giggles. So that's how that whole thing started with the EVP of Giggles.
That's right.
So yeah. And here it is that it's just blown up the name, and I'm just sticking with it. So
I love it.
Oh, it's such a great thing.
I love the EVP of the Giggles. Of course, it's like partially because I came up with it, but I just love it.
But
yeah, I'm glad the indies are coming back, man. Didn't wrestling feel weird when it was gone?
It hurt me so bad because here it was like, I have a planner, right? Like for the year, and I was writing, like, you talk to me all the time, and like I'll send pictures like to you about stuff that I'm going to, and like I had I had promoters reaching out to me, giving me all their dates to the end of the year. And, you know, so I had it in my book, all these dates, and it was so hard to like start scratching dates out. And it's still hurtful because there's like one of my other favorite promotions, like they announced the other day that they're not doing any shows the rest of the year, that they decided. That's just best, that they're just not going to do any shows. They were hoping for an August show, and then they just wind up saying, okay, we're just, you know, due to COVID, we're just not going to, you know, put anybody in a position, you know, next year's a new year. So I am very grateful that we're starting to get shows. I'm still nervous to go to shows. I kind of like declined on a few because it's just crazy. So, but I'm glad, like, I'll support from home. That's what I'm going to do. Like, if I can't, you know, go to these shows, then I'm gonna be there watching online. So actually, this past weekend, even though we're watching GCW, there was another show earlier, Titan Championship Wrestling, I think it is, and I know I got that one wrong. I think it's TCT. They were live on Facebook, so it was going in there watching some of my friends wrestle. So it was kind of nice to like start seeing and starting to see a little bit of the fans, but. I mean, you get it because you want to feel comfortable to like start going to these shows. So I need to definitely feel comfortable to go to these shows. But I'm glad that at least we get to see some of it, even if they don't have fans or if they do have fans, with all the apps that we have today. I'm so grateful for. So we can watch all that.
Yeah. I'm glad that we have Fight TV. I think Fight TV is going to be able to, like, if these companies are able to find play. That's so hard for the indies though. Like, how can they be profitable or stay afloat and have fanless shows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because a lot of them aren't on Fight. A lot of them just do it, and they like the smaller promotions, they're depending on the ticket sales. And then what they'll do is they'll record from like their cameras, and then they'll upload it into their YouTube. So if you're not on Fight because they're smaller. So I think that's what happened with a lot of promotions this year. I don't think we're going to see a lot of promotions this year, which I'm sad about, because of that. Because I think it's expensive to like put it on Fight, right? Like I'm not sure on the back end of how that works. Like
I don't actually know. I have no idea. I can't imagine it's that expensive since shows are mostly like anywhere, like they're like $10 unless it's like an ROH show, then they're expensive, but that's because the production value is super high. But GCW shows are what, $13 typically?
Yeah, they're not a lot of money. So, but I want to get back into the scene like crazy. Yeah. So like at least like I have Synergy to look forward to. I'm so excited for. So yeah, so I'll get my booty there, but I'm so excited for that, for the indies. I need my indies. I miss my boys and my girls out there wrestling and putting on great shows. So, but
I was real excited about the indies for this summer because I just started teaching this year, right? So I was like, oh, sweet, I'll have like June and July off, and you know there'll be some shows that come through Austin, and it'll be easier for me because I went to like Wrestle Circus last year was happening in the summers, but they also like Inspire does stuff here. AEW will come down here as well, and so I was like, oh hell yeah! Then it doesn't matter. My wife and I are both off. You know, we wouldn't take the kid, but I could feasibly just like run down to Austin and get a friend to meet me at an indie show. And now it's like, well, shit. Nah. I'm not going to go right now, but I'll watch on TV.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah. Like, it's whatever you guys like feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable, go for it. If not, then don't. So, I mean, that's the best I'm going to say, but support, right? Support. I'm always going to be that big advocate for independent wrestling. I'm just going to push it so hard. So that's where it all started, right? And we wouldn't be watching mainstream without these guys in the indie scene. So that's why I keep preaching. So.
Well, I like to say to people too, when we talk about it, is like, you know, when you think like, why should I watch indie wrestling? It's not polished. Like some of the like Puroso fans that don't like to watch indie wrestling. Like the thing is though, if you let the indie wrestling scene die, then you don't get to find out how good AJ Styles would be as WWE champion. You don't find out how good Daniel Bryan is because you never have American Dragon in ROH. And, you know, you don't get him. You don't get Drew Gulak because there is no Chikara. You don't get Cesaro because there is no Chikara. Like, you don't get all Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, like these guys that are huge names. Yeah. You don't get, like, maybe you still get a Roman Reigns, but you don't get a Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins cut his teeth on the indies. So, like, if he was a dude in Iowa, WWE never would have found him if it wasn't for Ring of Honor and other smaller or independent wrestling promotions. So, like, I mean, it's like $10, right? Like, I know times are a little hard right now, but I mean, if you got $10 for anything, skip the 6-pack and buy a wrestling show once in a while.
It's true. And you'll have the time of your life with a lot of these shows. And just check out your local independent shows. I can't believe how many there are. It's insanity. So definitely, yeah, you're right. Don't let it die. Just don't.
Yeah.
We need it. We definitely need it. So, but
yeah, JPQ and I at the beginning of all this talked about how we were really scared for the indies, and now I think there's a really good opportunity for the indies because, frankly, people are just going to get disenchanted by only having AEW and WWE and Impact as their options. They're going to want some other options for entertainment, especially as AEW keeps delivering, but WWE to a lot of people is not. There's just a lot of opportunities to, like, if they can find a way to make it work and stay afloat and be profitable, there's a huge opportunity for independent wrestling promotions to really make a name for themselves and their talent. Like Synergy has a massive amount of, like, a massive ability to really make a difference in wrestling right now, as far as showing that there is good quality independent wrestling available. You just got to watch.
Definitely. I can't. And it was great too. And he's worked so hard even during quarantine. What I loved is that he was putting on, even like on Fight, I think one of the shows was like $5. And what he did is he pulled like 8 matches through like old Synergy. And it was great. And it was like, he tried so hard to give us something. So it was fun. It's worth it. Like you said, $5-10. Like it's not a lot of money, and you'll discover a lot of great people and a lot of great promotions. So yeah, and the show on July 11th, guys, like definitely check out the show with Synergy. I promise you, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so glad I'm gonna be there live. So you have to tune into that, because I'm sure between Queen and Aveni and a bunch of other people, they've tweeted and said, "I hear Tiffany." And you'll see me. You'll definitely see me, because I'll be the fool screaming of my husbands, because Tony Deppen will be there and Alex Zane will be there. So I'm so excited. And then I'm so excited that Blake Christian too. So all 3 of like my faves are wrestling this show. So definitely check it out, guys. But
yeah, that 7-Eleven show is going to be fantastic. And we're and then they have a tournament on 7/25 too, that Garden State Invitational. And we're doing we're revealing the people on the bracket tonight. Me, Chris Van Vliet, David LaGreca, John Alba, and Colin over at Synergy. We're doing that tonight. And it is, I've seen the field, and I can't reveal anybody that's on the field. But it is quite a good field in this tournament. It is a very, very good field.
I'm excited. He always puts on a good show, guys. Definitely. And if you can, check out that stream tonight as well. So, but Ant, we've been going on for over an hour. We go by so quick all the time.
Yes.
Like what me and you are
Yes,
doing together. So, and I know you need to get ready for your other podcast, but tell everybody where they can find you if they want to go and listen and bother you about green beans on Twitter.
You can go to at Smark to Death on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I don't really fuck with Facebook very often, but you're welcome to follow the page there. Mostly I'm a Twitter person, so if you get me there, that would be ideal. You can also find the podcast by looking for Smark to Death Radio. We're available everywhere that podcasts are played. Also twitch.tv/Smark to Death Radio, where there's some gaming on that channel, as well as some live podcast, pay-per-view reviews, and here on YouTube at just Smark to Death on YouTube. So yeah, just hopefully you guys follow. That would be awesome. If not, keep following Tiffany and her journey through the indies. As they come back, she's going to get have enough excitement for the indies coming back as like for the entire wrestling world.
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to it. So, but guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you guys had fun. Anthony, you're the best. I'm so glad that we got to do this again. It's been too long. Let's not make that happen again.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely not. Definitely not. This has to happen again. So we'll definitely have you back on to the Wrestle Forum. So guys, thank you guys again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe over to the No Holds Barred Network. So, and that is episode 7, and we will talk to you soon, guys. Bye.